Hey everyone, I'm AdamHarry with
Clint.
Clint. Hi man.
Hey.
Clint's one of our Age of Sigmar writers. Thanks for joining me today to talk about the brand new Warhammer Age of Sigmar Order Battletome for the new Fyreslayers.
The angry Scottish blacksmiths.
That's very true. Very, very true. We've actually got the old book with us as well, and we actually did some comparison before, so we've Clint's kind of gone through here and found some cool stuff. So you ready to dive in?
Yeah, man, let's go.
Let's do it. All right, so the Fyreslayers got a cool new Battletome, new update, new special, not endless spells.
No. Magmic invocations, I think they're called.
Magmic invocations, right. But what are we looking at here in the book today? So we've got all your standard stuff. This is the new kind of 2.0 version of Battletome. So it's got your big chunk for the lore, which is going to go through all the history of them. It's even got some updates to the story. Kind of what the Fyreslayers have been up to during the Soul Wars.
Yeah, and I love this opening shot here where you can see them down here fighting off the Night Haunt. That's super cool.
Been introduced since their last book, which is pretty cool. We're also going to get into the new lodges, right? There's
four new lodges.
What are the 4 new lodges called?
Vostarg, Greyfjord, Harmdir, and Lofnir.
Lofnir. Any of those are going to be any big ones you're looking forward to?
I think the big ones I'm looking forward to are definitely Vostarg and Lofnir because they're kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're really going to, I think, change the game.
Awesome. Well, we will check maybe one of those out, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we've got also, it's going to jump into the new allegiance abilities and all those new rules and all that fun stuff. We're also going to, it's got the Path of Glory information here.
Path of Glory, yes.
Which is great if you're looking to jump into Age of Sigmar but don't want to start with a big, massive army. I love Path of Glory. It's a great way to build up. And then, of course, we got all the War Scrolls and their pitch battle points. So let's keep going.
Yeah, let's jump right in.
So story-wise, of course, we've got the introduction of the new lodges and the updates. What do you know? What can you tell us so far, Clint, about the lodges?
Okay, so it looks like the lodges really represent like the different like styles of fighting they do. It's different war scrolls they're bringing in, different things they focus on. Like the Vorstarks, who I was talking about before, more like they're on foot. They're like big on like broing up, and they're gonna like the more berserkers you have, the better you are because they're kind of like. I guess they're like the youngest, but they're like the front line. They're like the angry ones.
Yeah.
And then, like, the Greyfjord are, like, the kind of older guys.
Yeah.
They favor a bunch of heroes on foot.
Okay.
Harmdir they're, like, the blacksmiths. They're the ones who have the really good weapons. And then Lofnir are the ones who are, like, hardcore Magma Droth.
Oh.
Like, they're bringing the dragons.
Bring the dragons. Yeah. And then, if you want to run different lodges, there's a ton more to play around. There's 8 more examples that you can kind of make your own if you choose to do that.
It reminds me of like Achelian houses or I don't know what they're called.
The chambers, the Stormcast chambers.
Yeah, the Stormcast chambers. Like, okay, so if one doesn't fit, make one up and just use these rules.
Exactly. Of course, we get all the new introductions to the lodges. We get how they're organized as well, which is kind of neat. Just if you're into that kind of organizational type of thing, it's always nice to see.
If you're a narrative player.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of like, how does the army function or how does the lodge actually look organizational-wise? And then, of course, we get into all the different units with a little bit of lore background, like, for instance, the Doomseekers or the Berserkers, Battlesmiths, and stuff like that. Then we get into the awesome looking... Ooh, it's getting away from me. It's too hot. It's too hot. We get into the miniatures...
Fresh out of the forge.
Right? We get into the miniature sections where it's just going to show off all the wonderful miniatures for the Fyreslayers. The awesome freaking Magma Droth.
That's actually Magma Droth is one of the things that actually drew me to Age of Sigmar in the beginning. Like when I was contemplating if I wanted to get back in, somebody's like, "Well, look at this dragon lizard." I'm like, "All right, that's pretty cool, man."
It's pretty cool, man. Yeah, for sure, man. Like when the Magma Droth came out, it was like a whoa moment for me because that was like one of the early Age of Sigmar big kits that got redone and released, and it was just like mind blowing. So. A lot of really cool stuff for the miniatures. It also has painting tips and tricks too. So if you are struggling with how to do magma or how to do fire or fire magma, there you go.
I'm really looking forward to this right here, the cracked earth, because I love that on miniatures.
Yeah.
And them giving like a tutorial for it, or even like just a quick rundown of it is super cool.
Yeah, it's these aren't super in-depth detail, but they are good enough to get you started.
Yeah.
And of course they've got that wonderful paint channel to check out if you want to see more techniques. Allegiance abilities. What's new with the Fyreslayers in that regard?
Okay, so when they didn't have it in their original Battletome, but when General's Handbook came out, they got their Urgold runes.
Yeah.
And they brought those back. There were a couple of changes that I noticed. The Rune of Fury got a little bit nerfed right away.
Okay.
Just on the enhanced effect, because now it just adds 1 to the attack. It used to, I think, deal out mortal wounds.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that one got toned down a little bit.
Fire Determination got hit hard.
Ooh.
Because it used to be like straight out of the gate, Fyreslayers don't take battle shock. And then the enhanced was, if they die, they get to attack again.
Oh.
Now that's the enhanced effect, is the immune to battle shock. And
Okay.
they just get +1 bravery, which is still fine.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty heavy nerf.
Yeah. But aside from that, though,
Yeah.
they did tweak those, but they have a good reason for that.
Yeah, and it feels balanced. And like when you look at that just on paper, you're like, oh, I don't know about that. But then when you get to like the units,
right.
One, straight out of the gate, I gotta say, your battle line got an extra wound.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's huge. And we'll get to why they kind of made those
Yeah.
changes here. But yeah, those were the two biggest hits with the
Yeah,
nerf
I think
buttons,
those
but-
are the ones that got the biggest hits. Everything else saw some changes, like Rune of Farsight saw some changes, but it's not, it didn't get nerfed, it didn't get buffed, nothing
It's
really
different,
changed.
yeah.
Yeah, I think everything's just a little different to like keep up with the meta.
Okay, cool. And then, of course, we've got new command traits, new artifacts of power.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to go through all of those, but you get the idea. You've got
Yeah.
Inheritance of Grimnir. You've got the Magmic empowerments as well. These are applied to the Rune Masters and Runesmiths.
Yeah, and I love that. I love
Yeah.
that they split the traits between like the priests and the fighters.
Right.
That's super cool.
Fighters, Priest is really cool.
Yeah.
Artifacts of Power, again, kind of a similar split here. Rune Fathers
Yeah.
and Rune Sons, and then the
this
Berserkers
one,
and Doomseekers.
Right here, the Obsidian Glowhelm stood
Yeah.
out to me just because it's 4 up, get a command point.
That's pretty
It's
sweet.
fantastic.
Yeah, and the command point system, obviously, in this game now with the ability to activate the hero powers and all that stuff is pretty huge. So,
Yeah.
running lots of heroes, awesome. More artifacts as well, and the Magma traits, which is pretty funny if you're with the mounted rules and mounted traits is pretty fun if you want to spice up your already.
Spice up your fire, boys.
We do have prayers as well.
Yeah.
And those can also. Can you talk to me a little bit about what the prayers do?
Okay, so the prayers are entirely new. It used to like the priest just had like they'd hit the rune and then something would happen. Now they can actually pray and get new stuff. So like Gilded Claw is great. It hits your Magma Droths. Ember Storm will protect your guys. Prayer of Ash keeps them alive a little longer. It's a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So it's again, your priest can only pray once, but they can know any of these. You can only do it once per turn, as with any other prayer or spell or what have you. But they're really powerful, and I think they're going to really benefit from like the new terrain piece and stuff like that. There's a lot of prayers that are really going to help out your Fyreslayers. Like the things that they lost as just general rules were put into the prayers, so that you can really like
shuffled it around.
Yeah, you can really like tune your army to what you're facing.
Oh, very cool, very cool. And again, the prayers aren't spells, so they can't be shut down like a magic spell.
Right.
They functionally do the same thing, but mechanically are different, so you can't stop them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
one thing I like is that Grimnir's a lot nicer to his boys.
Yeah.
Because like if you look at the prayers to Kain or the prayers to Khorne, if you roll a 1, you take damage because Khorne and Kain are just like, oh, what are you doing?
You're doing it wrong.
The Fyreslayers don't take that. It's just, all right, well, I failed, and Grimnir's like, all right, man, you got it next time.
Yeah,
I feel you.
You didn't hear me. It's fine. I didn't listen this time, but I'm not gonna smash you with fire. So, Magmic Invocations. That's another big deal. Let's skip this for now because I want to show off what the spells not spells.
The not
do.
spells, yeah.
Yeah. Moving on, we do have the new Magmic Battleforge, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about what that does?
I did not expect it to do what it does. I thought it was going to be like a little bit more similar to the Throne.
Yeah.
But it's really not. It's like, okay, so if you've got a priest close to it, he can like pump the bellows, tune the irons, and then everything within 18 inches get +1 to prayers. But you can say that he's supercharging it once per battle.
Oh.
And if you do that, every single Fyreslayer gets to reroll save rolls of 1. Everything on the battlefield reroll save rolls of 1.
Wow.
But if you do that, you've burnt out the forge.
Okay.
So it's like all right, Hail Mary pass.
Yeah.
Forge the fires. I'm rerolling saves of 1 because this is going to be my turn.
Yeah, that's the when it's go time.
Yeah,
that's like, when you're like, all right, it's time to blow this bad boy up because we're
the comet's back there. You're sitting on a bunch of skeleton warriors.
I feel like that's either going to happen on like turn 3 or turn 5.
Yeah,
like when you're like, all right, we're in the thick of it now. All the units have hit. It's combat. Boom. I need protection. Or it's like it's time to go for the glory. And yeah.
Or if you lose all of your priests and you've just got the one sitting by the battle forge, he's like, well, nothing else I can do.
I don't need these prayers. Do it. All right, moving on to, from that. That's a pretty cool terrain piece, and it's pretty big. We've got it here. We've got to look at it. It's pretty cool. Let's talk about Lofnir, because I know you were pretty pumped about these guys.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was looking at the lodges, and at first I'm like, all right, Vostarg's going to be the one. And I'm just flipping through, I'm like, all right, Lofnir. Does that say every Magmadroth can take a trait, and you can have additional behemoths as long as they're all Magmadroths? That's dumb. So it's just dragon spam.
Sweet. Yeah, so if you want to run the awesome Magmadroths, that's the lodge for you. And you mentioned that you feel like this could change the game up a little bit.
I really do, because, I mean, like, being able to, like, even take that one extra behemoth. Like, yeah, they're expensive, but even, like, just being able to bring them, since all of the Magmadroths are toting a hero.
Yeah.
Being able to bring that one extra behemoth might really be the thing that turns the table. Because unless you're fighting a Monster Slayer army, you're just going to run train over things. Yeah. Especially since they can all have a trait.
Big bestial monster on fire dragon train. It's just going to smash into the enemy line and just stomp all over them.
Yeah, and giving them all traits, you know, making them more powerful is like, that's not even something that you really think about like Stormcast doing, because you don't need battalions to give everything traits.
Yeah.
And like the Stormcast, of course, when you take a bunch of battalions, they can give all their mounts traits. So, But Lofnir is just like, I don't need any battalions. All of my Magmadroths are awesome because they're highly trained and highly bred, so...
Because this is what
eat my fiery lizard breath.
Very cool, very cool. We also have their battle plans, I think. How many? I think it's like 3, about 1, 2...
Two.
Yeah, 2 battle plans. And then we get to the Path of Glory, which again, if you're looking to dip your toe into a lake of magma, this is the one to do it with. Path of Glory is great because it's a slow ramp up. You can collect as you're playing. It's great for League nights and all that fun stuff.
And I really like their warband table. Like, I like the way it's kind of like organized.
Yeah.
The hero follower, the elite followers are really good, and the champions you can get are all really fun.
Yeah. It's a great slow build system.
Yeah.
It leads into having a big massive army. All right, we get to the War Scrolls and their battalions and stuff like that. Anything stand out from you?
So, I don't know if it's a thing that has lived forever, but I was reading over the Grandfeared, and it used to be like you could just make a ridiculous oath.
Yeah.
And then if you got it, you know, you got a triumph. If you didn't, you didn't. So it lost that, which kind of took away, like, I guess the fun gimmick of the game. But it's it's really good because now that, like, prayers are a thing, Grandfeared really boosts your rune abilities.
Oh.
Because...
Yeah.
You get the enhanced ability of your Urgolds on 5s instead of 6s.
Very cool.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Lords of the Lodge buffed the Oathbound Guardians rule.
Okay.
Which is berserkers that are within 12 inches of the hero can fight twice.
Oh,
which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Especially considering that, like, if you kill them, they get to fight back.
Yeah, that was one of the changes, which we're getting to. Like we mentioned earlier, pretty much everything that was 1 wound jumped up to 2, right?
Yeah.
And we wanted, Clint, I know you wanted to show off and talk about the berserkers themselves, because while some of the stuff did get hit with the nerf bat, the berserkers are not one of those things.
Yeah.
Right, so what happened?
Not the Grimwraths, though, the Volkites.
The Volkites, sorry.
Yeah, these guys.
These guys.
So first off, they did lose, Berserk Fury is no longer an invulnerable save.
Okay.
But now, if you kill them, they get to fight back. But this is the big deal.
Yeah,
2 wounds now.
They have 2 wounds now.
And as long as they still have the shields, they're still 4-up in combat. So 4-up, double wounds, which I really think like fits their lore better, because they're like these big tough guys that run around in loincloths.
Yeah.
And like they live in volcanoes. They've got to be tough. So I think giving them the extra wound to make up for their kind of low save is really great.
Yeah, so basically if you're wanting to run a lot of battle line guys, which 2 wounds, no joke. They don't have the greatest save, but with a shield they become 4-up, which is decent.
Yeah.
And you've got ways to make them fight twice. And if they get taken out, they can also fight, even if they're dead, even if they've been slain, so they can still fight. So, like you're gonna get your attacks in here, and they have missile attacks, so it's not great, but it's a range attack. But the big thing is you're looking at 2 attacks with the hand axe or the war pick.
The only unfortunate thing is that you can only use the Berserk Fury once per battle now.
Yeah,
but there is a battle, one of the battalions that lets you do it twice.
Yeah.
So So that's kind of like all right, this is the turn where I think my Volkites are going to die. Like if they get charged by like Skull Crushers or something. It's like, all right, well, they got to fight back. But I still think overall, like giving them the extra wound, even though they did lose the 6-up invulnerable save, giving them the extra wound is really just going to edge them out and make them a really good, tough stopping point.
Right. Because it just becomes a wall of short beef to fight through.
Yeah. And I mean, the Hearthguard, they got the extra wound too, but they kept the invulnerable save.
Yeah, these guys.
So,
these
Hearthguard
guys.
Berserkers, yeah.
Sorry.
So they're going to be really, I think they're going to be a really good battle line, which they are battle line if you take a Runefather.
Yeah.
So,
both of these guys, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be seeing a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
really cool stuff. And then, of course, we get to the Magmic...
The not spells.
Yeah, Magmic not spells, the invocations. What can you tell us about these 3 different not spells?
They seem really strong. They seem like they're going to be a lot of fun to play with. I really liked Firewall just because it blocks line of sight. So it's like, oh, you got a shooting army to fight my berserkers? No, you don't. Magma Droth can run over it.
Yeah.
The Molten Infernoth is a lot of fun just because I like the model.
Yeah.
Just the big magma dragon coming out of the ground.
Sure, yeah.
And I like that it increases bravery for Fyreslayers. I also like that it kept with the last couple of things we saw, like the Scuttletide for Gitmob and the Vermintide for Skaven.
Sure.
It hurts things except its own people. It doesn't hurt Fyreslayers.
Very cool.
So you can run it into your giant block of Volkite Berserkers without worrying about it backlashing.
Yeah.
And it throws out mortal wounds against
It
you.
just keeps going.
Yeah.
Very cool. And of course, last but not least, we get points in here, which we're not showing those off because come on, guys, come on. But that's
we can't do everything.
Do everything. But the Order Battletome, the Fyreslayers, the brand new one out. It's coming out soon. If it's not out by the time you watch this video, anything else we want to cover, Clint? Because I think that's.
No, I think that's
good, man.
Pretty much all I got.
It's hot stuff. So go check it out. Thanks again for watching. Have a good one.
See ya.
Click to subscribe. Check out more videos. And thanks for watching.